Out of all of the religions, why does the religion of Islam seem to always be on the defense?
That's because you're living in a certain part of the world where it's always on the offense. Okay, if you were to have been born and raised in another part of the world, in most Middle Eastern countries, you wouldn't be asking this question. Rather, a question would be very different. And I've lived in Saudi Arabia for 10 years while I was studying, and I've lived over here. And believe you me, the perceptions of the people about the other are just, like Professor Mattson said, it's unbelievable. The way that Saudis view Americans is just as stereotypical as the way that Americans view Muslims, let's say. So the question is being asked from a very specific geographic region, and that is North America. You would not be asking this question had we been living in any other part of the world. Islam is not on the defense. Rather, from their perception, Islam is being attacked on the offensive all the time. And of course, there's stereotypes on both sides. But I'm just trying to say that that is simply not true. We're just happening to be living in a certain time and place where it does appear to be true. I'd like to make a comment about this, though, and that is that when it comes to all of these issues of jihad and terrorism and violence and whatnot, I think that we need to at least be willing to listen to what people are saying. It's very easy to blame the religion or fanatical interpretations of the religion. And there's no doubt, and I have no problems admitting this, that there are fanatical interpretations of the religion. However, combined with those fanatical interpretations, there are also socio-economic and political conditions that have facilitated such extremist understandings. If you were to somehow solve those socio-economic problems and also address those political grievances, then believe you me, no matter how fanatic a person is, he or she could not have a following, could not have a global following. What I'm trying to say is there's an element of truth to right-wingers when they lambast extremist interpretation of Islam. There's an element of truth to that. There's also an element of truth when left-wingers as well try to politically analyze what's going on and do talk about American foreign policy. There's an element of truth when psychologists analyze the suicide bombers and what they're doing. Be open-minded and be willing to listen to a number of ideas, because in the end of the day, really there is a bit of truth in all of what is where they're coming from.
If I can just say something that I think is important about the issue of being on the defense. How many of you in this audience ever give the khutbah in your masjid? Raise your hand. If you ever give a khutbah, guest khatib, whatever, okay. How many of you teach children in our community? Sunday school, Islamic school, okay. I think it's very important for us, when we convey what Islam is to our community, to not give the impression that we're always on the defense. To feel like a victim, to feel like we are weak, is a very problematic state of mind to be in. Because it makes you look to blame others. It doesn't make you look to the strengths within inside yourself. For people who are, our community, like every community, has all sorts of personalities. They're the people who are very resilient. They could go through the worst hardship and they come out stronger for it. But most people aren't that way. Most people are just normal. And there's a certain amount of stress that they can take, and then they just want to stay away from it. And what's happening is that if we continually talk about, in the khutbah or in our talks, our community, everyone attacks us, the Muslims are weak, this and that, people will feel disempowered. And many people will just fade away. Some people will have a problematic reaction. We have to be realistic. There are problems, that need to be addressed. But part of the realism is also saying we also have many strengths. We have amazing resources in our community. We are, mashallah, looking at, if we just look around this country, compare it to 30 years ago, the number of masajid, the number of schools, our rights, public figures, how Muslims are being accepted in the public sphere. Yes, also attacked, but that's part of it. So what I want to say is that this sense of always being attacked is problematic in itself, and we really have to be very mindful of the effect that we're having on our community. We need to empower our community to do something about the problems, the real problems that are out there. We need to give them solutions. We need to give them projects that they can be successful at so they feel encouraged to do more, but not to just feel like, oh, I'm a victim, everyone's attacking me.
And the Quran also talks about وَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ وَلَا تُطِعْ مِنْهُمْ آثِمًا أَوْ كَفُورًا. That you have to have a level of patience and continue to do what you are supposed to be doing. And do not just run after everything that they are saying and لَا تُطِعْ مِنْهُمْ آثِمًا أَوْ كَفُورًا. The transgressor or the disbeliever that they take you away, you have to keep going after it. And no, you have to stand firm. The sabr here is to remain firm and continuously doing what you are supposed to do.